Hello everyone and welcome to A Slice of My Life. It is long-awaited mail call time. If you want to know exactly how long, I would say it is about 9 months, maybe even 10 months depending. But it is mail call all the way from, I don't even know if I want to say if it's from the EU or if it's from the US, but finally it is here. Rondell? Yes, the Rondell that I purchased. You guys remember when I first made the video of the Rondell spinner, the prototype that I had on hand from Conceptual Designs, and then after that I said that I made an order. So this is the order since then. It's been a long time. And out of goodwill, Ansar of Conceptual Designs decided to add in a Chaton for the inconvenience that I had to face. And so without further ado, I'm gonna crack this package open and then let's talk about it. And so we have two tin cases, and I want to make this video about the Chaton because you guys already had the first impressions of the Rondell prototype, and that one I'm gonna make another video comparing the prototype to the retail version that is one of these two. So let's just open up these lids and okay, so this is the Chaton. And so basically, yes, it comes in this tin case, which is very commonplace nowadays, but it has the laser edge Conceptual Designs logo or company name on the lid, and this is the Be Blasted Chaton. And I have to thank Ansar for this because I did not purchase this. He sent it along with the Rondell because, well, basically I waited for 9 months. So it's kind of like his apology and a token of appreciation for my patience, and I guess in a way to thank me for actually making a video of the prototype Rondell in the first place. So Chaton, it is a lot smaller than I expected, a lot smaller than what it looked like in pictures, and I'm gonna just jump right in and say that this is supposed to be of a media blasted finish. It is very smooth to the touch. It feels like satin, but you could still see a lot of the machining lines, and I'm not sure if you guys can see it on camera, but there are a lot of the machining lines. I don't even know if those are actually brush marks or machining lines. Actually, it looks like brush marks. So it's like as if this was brushed and then sent for media blasting, because you could see the brush marks going this way and then going around at this angle here and this angle as well, and then on the flats it's just horizontal. I'm trying to get the light to reflect so that you guys can see it. You could see a little bit, but the buttons though, the buttons look like they have not been given a brushed treatment, just immediately be blasted, which is quite nice. It does feel very satiny as well, and all around I'm gonna say that there is zero hotspots on the Chaton. It feels absolutely smooth and well-rounded all over. Even this part, I would say that the outer edges here on the sides are the most pronounced edges, but they are not sharp at all. So I'm gonna pop the buttons off and let's see what's under the hood. I see, that's interesting. SBV2 bearings, I assume. Nicely milled slots, good for throwing the weight outwards a little bit more. And the buttons are dedicated male and female buttons, you can see. Screw type, and it is polished here and on the inside threads as well. That's because this has been media blasted. That's actually pretty cool that they actually have this finish here and then you have that ring over there. I guess the blasting process was done with the two halves of the buttons close together, and this is interesting because I'm actually struggling with trying to screw the buttons together. What is going on? Wow, hear that grittiness. That's weird. That's so weird. This is the first time I'm experiencing this with a set of buttons. What in the world? It felt like something was in the way. Okay, it's much better now though. So anyway, upon closer inspection, you guys can see that this is actually done quite well. The core area, it is sitting flush with the bearing on both sides, so this has been installed very nicely. And I don't know if this is I believe this is a slip fit because you can actually see a little bit of what seems to be some adhesive residue in that slot, like the space in between the bearing and the spinner frame. So let's pop the buttons back on and give it our first spin. Oh, wait, spins nice, but there's a slight judder to it. There's a certain grittiness. It's giving off a really strange sound though. Well, I must say that the spin is pretty smooth, but there's a very slight judder. This is unique. I've not felt this before. Could be the tolerances, it could be the way the spinner is made, I'm not so sure. But right off the bat, I would say that the spin quality itself is not bad for this spinner. The Chaton is actually quite good, surprisingly smooth for what it is, just that it has this very strange yet unique judder. It feels very comfortable, I must say, very, very comfortable. The only other spinner that I have that is, well, technically very close to this design is the Splice by Spinnetic crossover with Damn Designs, and this actually feels a lot more comfortable than that. I think I might have to do a side-by-side comparison to that in, I guess, the second part or the later part of this Chaton video. But I would have to say right now that it is very, very comfortable. Even push forwards, I do get a very different experience, I should say, when I have my finger landing here versus when I have my finger landing here, whether or not I'm pulling or whether or not I'm pushing. Yeah, interesting. And then for flicks wise, not bad. It's not as satisfying because, you know, the arms are actually tapering inward instead of outward. Buttons are coming a little bit loose, and buttons are good enough at this point of time that the fat of my thumbs don't actually overflow and touch the spinner frame, see? Even though I'm holding it in a more or less a flat grip. So guys, this is my first impressions of the Chaton. Personally, if I had a choice, I wish it wasn't in bead blast finish, because I'm not a fan of bead blasted finishes. I really don't like bead blasted finishes. I think bead blasting, although it might give you a very nice matte looking kind of result, I find that it makes the spinner look like it's made of plastic, number one. And number two, it's just way too smooth. So I haven't really put this through a lot of rigorous testing or stress testing, as I like to call it. And right now the buttons are not that concaved. You guys can see it is pretty flat. Not much of a dish inwards. So yeah, right now my first impressions on this are kind of so-so because of the finish, number one. And I kind of don't want to be biased or partial to that because personally I really like machine finishes. Actually, honestly speaking guys, apart from those reasons, the main reason why I don't like bead blasted finishes is because bead blasting basically makes the spinner a little bit more prone to corrosion and rust. And you guys know I live in Singapore, so it's a tropical climate, and that is always not a good thing when it comes to rust prevention. So I wish it was machine finish instead. But yeah, not a fan of bead blasted finishes, and it's just overly too smooth in my opinion. But of course I'm gonna try to be as objective as I can about this spinner, and I'll put it on my EDC for a week and then check back in and let you guys know what I really feel about it after that. So I'll catch you all in the next part then.
24 hours later.
It is lunchtime. Yes, we're finally going back to a place called Ali Khan. Thanks for interrupting me, Chongning, you piece of shit. We're going back to a place called Ali Khan. I've been wanting to take footage of this place. It's just that every single time that we actually decide to come here, it's usually on a whim, and so I tend to not have my camera lens with me. But just, I guess, a stroke of luck today that I actually have the lens with me. So it's a really good Indian Muslim place. But what I want to show you guys today is something called the coin prata. I know you guys know what prata is, but coin style is pretty cool, and one of my favorite dishes called kambing soup. Hopefully they have it at this hour. Usually kambing soup is like a dinner kind of dish, but yeah, we're here, Ali Khan. Kambing soup ada? Ada. Just to give you guys a little insight on the different kinds of prata that we have. Got plain prata, egg prata, onion prata, cheese, mushroom, tissue, Milo prata, banana, prata bomb, coin, butter, Maggi. Oh, Maggi prata. Hey, next time I must try Maggi prata. So it's all the different variations of roti prata that they have, which is kind of cool. And of course, you guys saw I have the Chaton with me today, you know, getting a good feel of it. Later on, I'll be asking Tetris for his impressions on the Chaton. One of the things that I also don't like about bead blaster finishes is that any scuffs and scratches are really obvious on it. So it's got a little bit of scuffs now due due to, I guess, very normal handling and of course putting it in my pocket. One of the things that you can do is to put your spinners in a pouch, and that really depends on whether or not you want to go that route. Because for me, sometimes I put it in a pouch, sometimes I'm just lazy and I just dump it in my pocket, you know? Like I wanna sometimes have I use my shit stonewash. You were not supposed to see it first, but you saw it already. I just received it yesterday.
I see. Because it's media blasted.
Yeah.
Very smooth. Not bad.
Yeah, kambing soup. This is kambing soup. Today one very yellow. Why I got a taste test to see whether today one was standard. Let's see, it's got standard today. Today's one tastes funny,
Change your recipe.
Maybe. Oh no, guys. I wanted to be happy and share with you guys my favorite kambing soup one. Today's kambing soup is a little bit strange. Generally, it's not this color. It's usually more brown and less yellow, but this today is a bit funny. Now, fingers crossed, hopefully the coin prata will taste good, because this place is well known for the coin prata set. So let's see how it goes.
It's not sharp in any way also. Yeah, but a bit too smooth. This one has an odd name.
Chaton? Yeah, it's like the same guy that made the rondelle.
Is it a French word?
I don't know, let's go Google it.
Sounds French.
A few moments later.
I Google it, bro. Chaton is the bezel around the jewel that is on a ring. You know what I mean? Like on a ring, there's a jewel, then there's it's the bezel around it. It's called Chaton. So this guy does all the stuff all like under the same theme, I guess, jewelry. Interesting. So this is what we call coin prata, and it's because they kind of shape it into smaller size, almost coin-like. To some people, it might be a bit, I guess, jelat. You guys heard this word before, jelat. Sated, quite quickly sated with the taste, because it's literally like, imagine the taste of one standard kosong prata compressed into a small size. So the taste is extra strong, it's extra salty, it's extra delicious. So to some people, 6 pieces of this is a little bit too much, but for me, it's great. Okay, at least the coin prata is still good. Every time to dig in, bye.
One eternity later.
I am back, guys, after, well, I'm sorry, I know I took a long time, and that's because I fell sick, and I have been sick for like the past couple of weeks. It's not been easy. You can tell by my voice, it's still bad. I'm still suffering from it. So I guess I want to say sorry that I took such a long time, but I really didn't want to procrastinate, and so I decided, once my voice gets a little bit better, I would record this part, and so here I am. So Chaton, everyone, Chaton. I've had the Chaton with me for the past, I think, about 2 weeks or so. I've been cycling through and alternating the Chaton on my EDC with the Scarab by Focus Works, and well, I'm ready to share my final verdict with you guys. But I realized also that I've been doing my final verdict a little bit wrong, and I apologize, because I realized that I always go back to sharing with you guys things like the size comparison when I've already done it in the first impressions segment, or at least the unboxing area. So I won't be repeating that. I will, however, be bringing this in. Like I mentioned to you guys in the earlier part of the video, I felt that the closest spinner in terms of design or just the silhouette is the splice right here, and clearly it's much bigger than the Chaton, but it does give me the same kind of feels, with the exception that the Chaton's waist or hips aren't as pronounced as this. Of course, in terms of sheer size, it's really different, but the angles itself, that's where it reminds me a little bit of this DNA splice here. So I'll put the splice aside because you guys already know about that. If you want, you can check out that video. But here we go. This is my final verdict on the Chaton, and I will have to say that over this period of time, I think the bearings kind of broke in. It's not getting that strange judder I was originally experiencing. It's got a very nice high-pitched humming sound now, and it's pretty smooth if you don't torque it. Like if you balance it on a point, it's actually really smooth. It's smooth to the point that it's almost, I guess, undetectable. Like you can't really feel it spinning at all. Maybe like because I had it in my pocket, I kind of popped the bearing, into a proper alignment. I don't know what kind of magic happened, but magic happened. And of course, the spin times is not that fantastic. The spin times is just about 3 minutes. It's barely under 3 minutes on a two-handed table spin, which is actually quite acceptable for a design like this because, this isn't designed for long spins, you guys can tell. Now let's talk about fidgetability. Okay, so fidgeting pulls is comfortable, but it's not easy to always land your finger on the side edge like that. Sometimes you actually land with your finger in the middle. I see if I can, like that, see? So sometimes you land like that. So if you land it in the middle, then of course it's not going to be as satisfying as if you were to pull from the arms itself. I guess it's one of the design, nuances that could have been improved a little bit or done better if these were a little bit more exaggerated, in my opinion. Push forwards are fine, it's very simple, very easy to push forward, and the reason why is because when you cock it back, this whole area here is a lot of real estate for your finger to push forward, so that's not much of an issue. And the same thing goes for your fourth finger fidgeting, but in the middle finger and thumb grip, push forwards are great. You see, it's quite easy to push forward because most of the time when you pull back, like I said, that back action, the cocking back action, kind of sets a spinner up in this position where I get my index finger here in the middle area, the waist area, and now I can give it a forward kick. If not, then I'll be able to push off from here. But it's pullbacks that I don't actually enjoy so much because it's like a 50-50 chance. If I land my finger here, then it's not so bad, or if I land my finger here, it's not so bad. But most of the time I realize that my finger lands here or in this general area because of the way I stop it. And pullbacks from this area is kind of, for a lack of a better term, that's weak sauce, like I'm not able to get a nice satisfying pull from that position. Yeah, and you see most of the time I actually have my finger landing up here and it's not that satisfying because I end up with a very small area for my finger to grip on, Of course, jib jabs no problem because it is quite ergonomic for jib jabs. But overall, I think the one main issue that I have with this is that it is just too light. I know the weight is not listed on the website and I know that I don't have a weighing scale, but this is coming in at about easily like 30-40 grams and it's just light. Like I don't really dig this too much. I like something a bit heftier, and of course I like something with a little bit better ergonomics in terms of like either size this way or deeper hips or more pronounced hips, I should say, and I guess maybe a little bit more weight being thrown out, kind of like that. But that's just personal preference. In terms of the looks, I think that it is a good translation of the rondelle spinner because that was the original idea that Ansar of Conceptual Designs was going for, a bar version of the rondelle, and I think it translated pretty well. But this just, doesn't really appeal to me overall. And also it is stated on the website that the bearing is a R188 press fit design, but I have not confirmed that because I found no reason to change the bearing out. I did mention, however, that I saw some residue and I might be wrong. So, maybe after this video, I'll pop the bearings off. Yeah, so just let me end this video first. So, all in all, everyone, I think that oh no, I forgot to tell you guys about the issue with the buttons. I still face the issue with the buttons. I guess it's more of an alignment thing right now. At first, it was gritty, but now that that's done, I guess I kind of broke it in, maybe. The buttons are actually fitting on a lot better. I just have to find the right alignment. Now, at this point of time, I want to say thanks again to Ansar for sending this over to me, even though I didn't request it. But here's my final verdict. The biggest part about this and the reason why I wasn't drawn to it is because of design. And design is very subjective, but it's just something that isn't appealing to me at all. It just doesn't look that fantastic. It looks a little bit strange to me. I can't say the word lackluster because it's got some nice curves and everything here, but it's just something that doesn't really stand out and doesn't really draw my attention to it. So that's the biggest reason why I wasn't too interested in the Chaton. Next, of course, the machining itself is pretty okay given that this is a bead blasted finish, but you do see some of that machining marks here and there under the bead blasting, or maybe see it through the bead blasting. I know I wasn't able to kind of show you guys properly, but it's quite difficult because of the light reflections on camera. But when you see it in real life, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I realized that the brushing isn't really very even. Like the brushing here on this flat surface isn't straight out, it's a little bit angled. And the way, if you're looking for something a little bit lighter, then yeah, this might be up your alley. And the last thing I want to talk about is the price. The price point is actually pretty expensive for what it is, in my opinion. It is, or it was, I don't know if there's any still on sale, but at the point of time, this was on sale for about 65 pounds. Yeah, it's pounds. 65 pounds roughly translates to about almost $190 or Singapore dollars, I should say. So 190 Singapore dollars for this is well, it's no joke, and you haven't even factored in shipping prices yet. I don't know if this was manufactured by Kepler. I believe so, and if it is manufactured by Kepler, I don't mean to knock people on their pricing choices, but 65 pounds for a Kepler produced item is just, in my opinion, is way too expensive. In the sea of spinner designs right now, this, although I know that Conceptual Designs is trying to stand out from the rest, this just doesn't look anything special from the rest of the spinners out there, and the sheer size itself just isn't too comfortable in my hand. I think it's a little bit too small for my liking. Those of you who like smaller spinners, you might consider this, but not for me. And basically that's my final verdict. And so now that we've come to the end of the video, I want to first of all thank all of you for the constant support. I apologize for being so late in posting this video because I really just recovered, and prior to this it was so difficult for me to just talk. I was literally coughing up bloody phlegm, so it's pretty bad, but I'm feeling much better now, so I hope that I'll be able to get back into gear, and just keep things moving. So once again, thank you everyone for understanding, and thank you for sticking all the way throughout. I hope that I provided enough information to help you decide whether or not the Chaton spinner is a spinner for you, regardless of how I feel about it. I also want to take this time to thank Ansar once again for sending this to me. You guys already know the story. As a spinner, if I were to just take away design nuances and size and everything, I think if this was released like a year ago, or maybe 1.5 years ago, this would be one of the better spinners out in the market. But it's because of the point of time now that we are at in terms of spinner designs and spinner releases, this is a little bit lackluster, and it's bringing nothing new to the table in my opinion. And spin quality is actually pretty good, but that's about it, not long spins and stuff like that. Before I go, I promised you guys that I will pop the bearing out just to see whether it's a press fit or a glue fit, so I'm gonna do it right now. So let's just check it out at this point of time to see whether it's really a press fit or does it have any kind of adhesive residue on it. It's adhesive residue, so definitely this thing is a glue fit. You can see all the residue on the inside, so I took the liberty of cleaning out the inside a little bit. You could still see one very clear layer of that residue. So let's see if I could just push this in with my bare hands. So the bearing's in. Oh no, it's a slip fit. I'm able to just push it out. All I gotta do is apply a little bit of pressure and it comes right out. So it's so smooth. It's a slip fit for sure. So that's the issue. This is not a true press fit. I know, I realize I'm not showing you guys anything, but yeah, there we go. This is not a true press fit. This is a slip fit spinner, and you need adhesive to hold the bearing in place. Conceptual Designs, you guys might want to consider changing the description on your website because that's kind of misleading. If you need adhesive, then it is a slip fit. If you don't need adhesive, then it's a true press fit. So that's it everyone. Thought I would share that information with you guys, and until the next episode, thank you so much once again for sharing in the size of my life. Gaga Boost.